Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles, along with me is also my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Gloth. How you doing today, Jacob?
I am swell, Charles. Excited for another episode of the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. We pitch new TV shows every single week. New stories, new plot lines, new seasons of these shows, new characters, new worlds, all that fun stuff,
crazy.
Fantasy, sci-fi.
Such good stuff.
Exciting things. And
So
you've got
exciting.
a new pitch for us this week, don't you?
Yes.
And what was that title?
And the pitch's title is The Difference in a Day.
The Difference in a Day.
And all I wanted when I started writing the show was to write a show about a man who is a lighthouse keeper.
Okay.
I failed.
Like the Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe?
Kinda, yeah.
Except maybe a little less mermaid shenanigans.
There's definitely no mermaids in this in this movie, because it's a movie, it's not a show.
Not a fan
I
of
failed
mermaids.
to write a TV show
Overused.
because I couldn't figure out how to make a TV show that's basically just one man in a lighthouse. You know?
Yeah. Because it's only
that
one
was
man.
hard. It's a guy.
Yeah, it's just a dude.
The guy's name, if you were wondering, is Josiah Cavendish, a man in his mid-40s whose wife and daughter have sadly passed away on their journey to the United States. It is around like 1850-ish, you know? Yeah, he is a dark and sullen man, but he has a hidden love for romantic poetry. So Byron, Shelley, you know, the greats of romantic poetry. And so that's kind of our guy. Think about him as being sort of I imagine like Ethan Hawke like 10 years ago, you know? When he was like a little bit younger. Because I want him to still be kind of a handsome guy, but I want him to be a big burly, like a dude who you think could be alive in 1800s New England, you know? Where he's working as a lighthouse keeper.
Okay.
So yeah, that's our main character. This is our point of view, is Josiah Cavendish. Act 1 begins with Josiah arriving with his partner, Marcus Lead, to undertake the beginnings of their 8-month-long stint at the lighthouse. So we open up the movie with a standard day in the life of an 1800s lighthouse keeper. The bulb of the lighthouse itself is replaced and fixed up. The food storage is checked. All of the, cleaning and cooking and everything is done. The labor is split rather evenly between the two men. And they are both rather quiet gentlemen. This is going to be a nearly dialogue-free opening, like 20-ish minutes of just this life of solitary quietness that both of these men are living in, right? And the only time that we're ever going to hear the silence really be broken is occasionally Josiah will walk out onto the rocky shore of this like very small lighthouse island, and out there he will recite the works of Byron and Shelley and other romantic poets, and he'll shout it out as loud as he can to the sea, just expressing his emotion and his feelings and his love. And this is the only way he can really get it out, And so they live in a relatively peaceful sort of, lifestyle, just doing what they need to do. But we do occasionally get the POV shot of this strange and mysterious entity that appears to be occupying the lower levels of the lighthouse, as well as the caves underneath of the lighthouse, right?
Okay.
They lead from the sub-basement down into the caves, and we can see the heavy breathing and the clickety-clacking
Is there a monster?
of this strange creature that may or may not be living underneath of the lighthouse.
Okay.
Now, an enormous storm arrives and starts rocking the lighthouse back and forth, and these two men are working hard, and they're nailing down windows, and they're making sure the bulb is working, and they've got it shining and all this stuff. And unfortunately, a wooden splinter flies through, like a big piece of wood, flies through the window of the lighthouse and stabs Marcus Lead in the arm. It leaves him severely injured. His arm is basically shattered in multiple places, and he is in bed rest.
Yeah.
Cut to Act 2. It's been a few months. It's been a few weeks, right? Marcus Lead is still in bed, and his condition is deteriorating rather rapidly because his arm has become infected. But we do see that Josiah has become very competent at running the lighthouse by himself. You know, because Marcus has been laid up, he has had to take on all of the responsibilities that the lighthouse entails, and he has gotten pretty good at it. He's gotten very good at running the lighthouse alone. And Marcus, you know, he's sitting there and he's laying in bed and he's, you know, gasping for air, and Josiah goes up to him and he comforts him. Marcus takes one last big swig of whiskey, and he says one final prayer, and then he passes to his injuries. Josiah, staring down a 6-month-long assignment completely alone on this lighthouse, is obviously slightly freaking out.
Yeah.
And he occasionally will see a hallucinatory version of his wife, who he'll talk to, and she will comfort him, and she will add some level of respite from his isolation.
What's his wife's name?
We never find out.
No.
Mary is her name, but
Mary.
we don't know.
He hadn't come up with this. What do you mean?
Yes.
We never find out. Mary's her name.
No, we would never find out in the story because, you know, it's unimportant.
Sure.
It is. It's unimportant.
Yeah. What does he call her?
But
Wife?
He said he doesn't ever refer
she appears,
to her.
right? And he's gonna talk to her.
Yeah, she appears to him, and he just, like, it's like a section of his subconscious.
Is it like when you see somebody in public but you can't remember their names? You're just like, oh, hey, how's it going? Is it one of those situations?
Sure.
Except it's his longtime wife for years.
He
just never saved her contact
to
in his
her.
phone. It just says the phone number.
He communicates to her via, like, poetry. Josiah's constantly reciting poetry and prose and Shakespeare and stuff. Like, that's how he communicates with the outside world, seemingly.
Hey, Josiah, you want to go for lunch? To eat or not to eat? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler to have a sandwich at home or to take up the walk and go to the shop.
Yeah. And that's why his wife and kid faked their deaths and left him.
Yep.
Because he was annoying as hell.
I'd find that annoying.
I would too. But he is talking to his hallucinatory wife, who finds it charming that he mostly communicates in, like, poetry. And he gives Marcus Lead a burial at sea, as is tradition for lighthouse keepers, and he spends the next few days kind of in sullen, quiet, you know, meditation almost. And he's in the sub-basement one day, just getting some more supplies out for, you know, his meals. And he finds this crab scuttering across the floor of this of the sub-basement. He's like, huh. Now, it's not incredibly, like, crazy a crab wound up here. There's cracks in the thing and the water levels change, but he picks up the crab and it doesn't snap at him or clip at him at all, and he notices there's this strange octangular symbol carved into the crab's shell on its back. And he's very curious about it, and he looks at it for a second, and he puts the crab down, and it scutters back into the wall of the sub-basement and presumably down further into the caves. And we can see something looking at the crab. You know, something it's looking at the symbol on the crab and looking up at the shaft of light made by the little like, crack in the wall that the crab escaped from.
Yeah.
So he decides whatever. He decides to ignore it. He goes upstairs, he makes himself a dinner, and he has a drink, and he has another drink, and then we cut to another few days, like we do kind of a time lapse of he's been drinking a lot more. You know, he used to have a few drinks, you know, with Marcus, right? They play cards and have a few drinks, but now Josiah's by himself and he's drinking a lot more. And one night there's a storm happening, and he's shouting angrily at the sky and at God, and he's reciting poetry in absolute rage, and his spit is flying from his mouth, and he's, just in an absolute fury. And he, goes back inside to go get another drink, and he hears a response to his poetry. He hears a response to the things he was saying coming from the basement. And he goes down the stairs to the basement. He stumbles down these stairs, and then he goes down even lower into the sub-basement. And then, he cracks open this one door because he has to find out where this poetry is coming from. He cracks open a final basement door, and he goes down further and further down into the caves until he sees her. A woman bathed in glowing moonlight.
Is it his wife?
A makeshift bridal ground cloaking her flesh.
Better not be a fucking mermaid. I swear to God.
He looks up at her, and she looks at him, and it is a horrific, crab-faced monster.
Okay, that's better than a mermaid.
Like claws and skittling creatures crawling out of every porous hole in her face and her body. The gown is draped over her, pointed and spiked skin and flesh. She looks like every horrifying undersea fish that you can imagine, all pushed into one horrific creature. And he can see that she's reciting the poetry. And Josiah,
is it like in a girl's voice? Or is it like kind of...
Yeah, it's a I should have mentioned this before. It's a beautiful woman's voice.
Okay.
Like a gorgeous woman's voice.
Like yours?
Yes, like mine.
Okay.
Like mine. Hello, Dolly. I'm not, that's a gay guy's voice.
That was disgusting. What you just did.
A beautiful woman's voice. But Josiah sees her, he sees this horrible fish-faced monster creature, he looks at it, and then he passes out. Josiah awakes, beginning of Act 3. He's tied up in vines. He sees this horrible creature before him, and he begins to cry and shout and scream and pray. He doesn't know what's going on, and the monster quiets him. She explains her name is Rakeen, as the locals used to call her. She has lived here for millennia, serving as and we can obviously see, we'll be able to tell that she served as a local sea goddess for the tribes people that lived in this section of the Northeast. I would say this is like Maine-ish. I'm not, I don't want to give a specific place, but that sort of area. And they worshipped her for centuries, and they gave her her name, and they gave her her symbol. But now the white man has come, and the worship has stopped. The crabs are the only ones who remember. And then we can see that there are crabs all over the floor, and all of them are covered in this symbol, the octangular symbol. And then we can look up, and we can see this massive, shrine built to this goddess, the symbol carved into the wall and painted on everything, right? And she has obviously been here for a very long time as just alone by herself. And she explains that she was awoken by the beautiful recitation of these poems that she hears Josiah saying, and that she would long to hear more from him, and long to hear his voice again, and long to read whatever it is he is reading. And Josiah is, he's obviously still freaked out. She lets him go, he gets up, he runs upstairs, he locks the door, he locks the other door, he piles stuff behind the door, he's freaked out. And he spends the next 2 days just like that didn't happen, it's not true, that's not real, that's not real, that's not real, just totally denying it, until on day 3, he can't deny it any longer. He can't deny what he saw, what he heard, what he smelled, right? He can't deny any of it. And so he goes and he unlocks the door and unlocks the other door and takes the stuff off the door, and he goes down into the sub-basement. And down just at the beginning edge of the cave entrance, he leaves a book of poetry for Rekin.
Oh, okay. Who's
And
the
now-
poet?
Yes.
Putting you on the spot
And
here. Who's
now-
the poet of the poetry?
Oh, I was gonna say Lord Byron.
Oh, it's okay. Byron poetry. Gotcha.
And so now he hears her voice all the time reciting the poetry, and he's growing to find comfort in her voice. And now every once in a while they'll talk. He'll say something to her, she'll say something to him, right? And after a few weeks of becoming very used to her voice and used to her company, if it were, he decides that he's going to do it. He goes downstairs into the caves where he has brought dinner. And he and this horrible crab-faced monster woman have a lovely meal together. And Josiah talks about his life, and he talks about his wife and his child, and how he lived before he had come to the US and how he's living now and everything. And she holds him, and he holds her back. They spend the following weeks, spending the nights together, right? He goes down there every night, and they have a dinner, and they'll talk, and they hold each other, right? Until one night a massive storm hits, and it seems like it's going to tear the lighthouse apart. It truly seems like it is over for this lighthouse and for Josiah as a whole, but Rekin uses her powers as a goddess of the sea, as this creature of the night, of the dark, and of the ocean. She holds the sea back, and she keeps the lighthouse together, and keeps them both alive. And then he holds her, and they spend the night together. For real. And as it's time for him to leave, his 6-month deployment is up, and he sees a boat on the shore, on the horizon. He sees it coming towards him. And he knows it's time for him to leave. And he goes down to see Rekin one more time, and he holds her hand, and he says that he'll never meet someone like her again.
Aww.
And he goes up, and he meets the ferry boat that goes to take him back. And he's sitting on the boat as they're rowing him back, and he's explaining that Marcus died. And then he looks back one last time at the lighthouse, and he shakes his head. He jumps out of the boat.
Oh.
He dives back into the water. He swims back to the lighthouse. He shouts back at the men, "I'm staying here, bring supplies," and he slams the door closed. And now we can see Josiah spends his days as a lighthouse keeper. But the difference in a day is that he spends his nights as a fish husband to his crazy monster fish wife. That's the movie. That was the movie I came up with.
That was interesting. Okay.
You're right.
I thought it was more horror, but it's not. It's
a love
romance?
story. It's a romance.
Okay. How the hell did you come up with that, Charlie?
I don't know, man. So there's a video game I was watching a review of, and it was about a lighthouse keeper that over a series of weeks discovers that the lighthouse is infected by a crazy monster. And I'm like, all right, that's a fun start, lighthouse keeper, crazy monster.
Yeah.
But then I was trying to think of, well, what could happen? What could, because lighthouse keeper gets ate by a crazy monster, lighthouse keeper kills a crazy monster. That's kind of the where that story goes. And I'm like, well, what if he does something different?
Yeah.
And so I kind of want it to be almost a question of if it is a love story. Because Rekin is kind of meant to be a sort of Lovecraftian creature,
Yeah.
She has existed for longer than humanity has ever existed. And she will be here long after we're dead. She is, this form, this way we are seeing her is simply one of her many forms. She has the ability to, look however she wants.
Okay, yeah.
And she has, sort of a Lovecraftian motive. And so I do want the question of the audience to be, is Josiah actually genuinely falling for this crazy monster? Or is this crazy monster utilizing, Lovecraftian style brain fucking with techniques to inspire a kind of loyalty and a kind of love in Josiah, right?
Yeah,
so I want
I gotcha.
Is the ending a tragedy or is it a love story? You know, that was the question that I wanted the audience to ask by the end.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. Is Martin going to have had a previous relationship with this person, or is it implied or something? Or is it Martin he just had no idea that this thing was there?
Oh, Marcus was totally oblivious. Marcus is like I didn't put this in, I should have said it. He's like a really religious guy. He's got he's constantly talking about prayer, and he's reciting prayer and reading the Bible and everything like that. And so he is like totally closed-minded to anything outside of the Christian God, devil, angel, dichotomy, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas because Josiah has lost everything, he's lost his family to, you know, what he considers to be the will of God. And because he is like such a fan of poetry, his mind is a little bit more fragile and a little bit more willing to accept things that other people would not, you know?
Yeah.
Not fragile, his mind's more elastic, I guess.
More flexible. Okay. Yeah, okay, I get that.
It's kind of a short one this week, folks, the episode. But
no, I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I certainly didn't expect where it was going. Didn't expect a monster love story. But I like it was not like a subversion for subversion's sake, but like a good expectation.
Yeah, under the shins.
I guess. Yeah. So I thought that was fun. That was a good pitch, Charlie.
Thank you.
It's nice.
And thank you, everyone, for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles, along with me has always been my co-host, our producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat. Remember, we'll be here next week with a brand new television series for you to imagine and enjoy. And Jake, do you know what the title of that show's going to be?
I don't. You're going to tell me. Preferably.
I am gonna tell you. Give me a sec. I have to get my other notebook.
I can tell because you sound farther away.
I was farther away. I was getting a notebook.
Yep.
Let's go to the show. All our titles. We gotta flip. Title ideas. All right. So you have 1, 2, 3 titles left. No, 2 titles left.
Okay,
2 titles left.
A lot of options here. 1 or 2. I'm gonna go with 2.
Oh, yes! This is the one I was wanting you to pick.
1.
No,
I changed it to 1.
Fuck you.
No, I changed it to 1. I changed it to 1.
You're not doing 1. All right. This is something we've never done before, and I am really excited to see what you do with it. All right. Your title is Captain Weird and the 14 Skies.
That's
right, Jake.
Quite ironic.
Yeah, it is.
Based on other stuff. You want me to do one of your shows?
Exactly. I want you to write a Captain Weird show.
I don't. Oh, that's gonna be tough because I don't have the intrinsic knowledge of Captain Weird. Captain Weird and the 14 Skies. Is that what you said?
In the 14 Skies.
Damn, I don't know if I would throw one of mine onto you, one of my series. Respublica Season 5. I'm gonna have to send you the book so you have to read it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. There's no books
You'd
involved
probably butcher
in
it. You just write whatever the hell you wanted and butcher the end of Respublica.
I would totally put a crazy monster in there. But that's the beauty of Captain Weird, I feel, is that it works in any setting.
Well,
so
I feel a great responsibility. I don't know if I would trust you with one of my long series, but I will try to do you proud with
I
Captain
believe
Weird,
in you, Jake.
Which if I'm correct... No, sorry, never mind. I was going to say this becomes the longest running series, but this will be the 4th installment of the Adventures of Captain Weird.
Hell yeah. Don't worry, you're not getting Jimmy King. I'm taking Jimmy King. You don't get him, but you get Captain Weird.
Okay, I mean, Captain Weird is if you look at our long-standing characters, he's number 3 on the board. It's number 1, Isaac Illich, number 2, Jimmy King, number 3, Captain Weird. I am, well, unless you count Marius and Respublica, but that's a real person, so I don't think that counts.
Yeah, it's a guy.
So, yeah, okay, interesting.
Yeah. I'm excited, Jake.
I am nervous. I am frightened about this duty, especially because that means I'm probably going to have to listen to the other episodes of Captain Weird so I remember what the hell has happened in his chronology, because I don't at all.
I think you can just listen to the last Captain Weird episode, because that left off on a pretty cool
wait,
note.
I think there's been 4 Captain Weirds, because I have not, I just noticed, have not put into the playlist your last one, which was Captain Weird and the Clan of Nasuno Niente.
Yeah, it was the surprise one.
Because I completely forgot about that one, because it came out of nowhere. So if you're listening, audience, right now, if you were complaining secretly to yourself about the Captain Weird playlist not being updated, it's updated now. 4 episodes of Captain Weird. That will make this 5 episodes of Captain Weird, which makes him the most reoccurring character. He'll have the most episodes. That more than Isaac Illich, more than Jimmy King. Yeah, more than Jimmy King.
Damn. Well, then I gotta get started on my Jimmy King, my next Jimmy King show.
Yeah. Only got 4
it's
Jimmy
gonna be.
Kings.
I know the title. If it makes you feel any better, the next
Jimmy King show.
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe I'll give you a decoy title one week so the audience won't know, and then you'll throw in the Jimmy King show.
Yeah. I thought about doing it for There was an episode we did a few weeks back, a title you gave me, that I thought about making a Jimmy King. Let me look back to see if I can remember which title it was.
Was it The City of Almost?
No, actually, it wasn't. It was...
Anywhere Out of the World? Superliminal?
It may have been Anywhere Out of the World.
Anywhere Out of the World. I like that title. Anyway, that's it for this week of the Reasonable Pilots podcast. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye!